It's Friday, and that can mean only one thing. It's time for the Gross Profits webinar series, where today, Cameron and I are going to talk about reason number 2
why you suck at sales.
Stay with us. Hi, folks. I'm Sean Crabtree.
And I'm Cameron Bailey.
We don't want to change the way you do business.
We want to change the way you're thinking about your business.
We want you to have better results, happier clients, and make more money.
Let's get it started.
And thanks for joining us on this episode where today we're going to talk about reason number 2, why you suck at sales, what you need to do about it, and hopefully we're going to convince you that it's not this big old evil thing and you can be great at it. That's the bottom line. This show is all about, we come to you live every week where this show is all about you having happier clients, better results, making more money, and it's also about enjoying the ride. And
if you're not having fun with it, what's the point of doing it?
That's what I was gonna say, man. If you're not having fun, you're not going to enjoy the ride. And
even if you are making money,
right?
If you're making bukus of money, I know people all the time making bunches and bunches and bunches of money, but you know what? They're not happy. And they don't enjoy the ride.
And if you're not enjoying the ride, then you're not going to be at it long term. Right?
That's right.
And you're not going to have any longevity.
That's right.
So this is such an important topic. The whole conversation, we thought we would make it a series, right? Why you suck at sales. We talked about reason number 1 last week. We're going to talk about reason number 2, and we're going to follow this thing through because there's so many aspects to it. The number 2 reason that you suck at sales. Share with us, Cameron. What is the number 2 reason?
Here's the number 2 reason you suck at sales. Can you see me? Here's the number 2 reason. Number 2 reason is you didn't get into the business that you're in because you wanted to be a salesperson, right? You didn't get into the restaurant business or the heating and air business or whatever it is, the insurance business. A lot of times you didn't get into CPA business, the attorney business. You didn't get into the attorney. You didn't get into that business, the dental business.
That's
you didn't
true.
get into that business because you wanted to be a salesperson. You got into that business because you enjoyed the aspects of that business.
And I think that's a very common situation as an entrepreneur, especially as you're coming of age. You know, I think there's this sort of idealistic view, and there's nothing wrong with it, but I think there's this sort of idealistic view that, you know what, I could be really good at fill in the blank, like he said with all those examples. And because I'm really good at fill in the blank, then I don't have to be good at sales, and people are going to appreciate what I do and all of those sorts of things.
Right.
Now, of course, after you've been knocked around a little bit, and when you're out in the real world, you come to an understanding that, which is the central takeaway of what we would like you to have from this episode. The central takeaway is this, and you're going to come to this understanding on your own, whether you believe it now or believe it later.
Whether you don't believe it at all, it's going to hit you in the face.
It's still true,
You're
right?
about to get smacked.
You are in sales. It doesn't matter if you're a CPA, attorney, an HVAC, a contractor,
Landscape business.
It doesn't.
It don't matter if you're selling
if you're a dentist,
little bracelets.
If you're a urologist, it doesn't matter what it is that you are, a medical doctor. You are in sales.
Somebody somewhere has to sell something. Listen, making the product don't make the bank account go bing bing. You know what I'm saying? What makes the bank account go bing bing is when you sell the product. You got to make the bank account go bing bing. You know? Beep beep bing bing. Right, Mr. Producer?
What do you think, Mr. Producer? I think he
He's
hadn't had
speechless.
enough. I think he hadn't had enough coffee. I think that's the problem.
Look, hey.
All right, so let me get this straight. We're trying to make it go bing bang.
Bing bing.
Okay. All right, that's a 2-syllable word.
That's right. Bing bing.
Bing.
Hey, next time you give them a check at the bank, say bing bing.
The number 2 reason why you suck at sales is because you got into your business because you like that business and you weren't really getting into your business to get into sales. But you got to understand, and here's the central takeaway, you are in sales. Now, what we'd like to do is give you 2 or 3 things that hopefully will give you pause to sort of analyze. Number one, you got to come to this realization: if you're in business, you're in sales. Doesn't matter what kind of business you're in sales. You are in sales. If you can buy that philosophically, now we'd like to help you by throwing a few questions at you to help you really kind of analyze. Okay, you got into business because you like the tactical aspects of your business, not because you're in sales. Now you come to the realization, dude, I'm in business. I'm freaking in sales. But for me to go after that, I've got to embrace the concept. I've got to enjoy sales. I've got to love on, as Dave Ramsey says, I got to love on sales. I got to love on it. And so, you didn't realize when you got into your business that you're in sales. Now you realize, okay, for me to grow this thing, I got to come to the realization that I'm in sales. How can you embrace that concept? What would you say,
Man,
Mr. Bailey?
I mean, the number one way that I can embrace that is I got to realize that I'm in sales, and I got to realize that that is what I do, just like you said. But I got to ask myself, what do I have against sales? What is the thing that's holding me back?
Is there really anything bad?
I mean, do I have a bad mindset about salespeople or dirty, dingy, nasty creatures? Or do I have a bad mindset of sales is going to be hard? Or, you know what I see a lot of times?
Dirty, dingy,
Yeah.
nasty creatures.
Make the bank account go bing, bang.
That means you're a dirty, dingy, nasty creature.
Oh, I'm the nastiest of the nasty. I'm the
you and I
dirtiest of
both
the
are
dirt.
just dirty, nasty.
I'm dirty,
dingy.
nasty. Hey, I make that bank account go bing, bing, man. Right?
Oh,
Hey, somebody somewhere got to sell something.
But all kidding aside, though, really,
What do you have against it in your mind, man?
What do you have against
Listen,
it?
there's so
What's
many
wrong
people.
What's wrong with sales?
There's so many people that think in their mind that they're scared. I think, you know what I think?
What do you think?
I think there's so many people in their mind they get scared of rejection. They get scared of people telling them no, right? If I have to go out on a limb and try to sell something, then I'm putting myself in a position where somebody could tell me no, right?
Well, but here's the thing. Whether you're trying to become great at sales or not, you're still going to get a no.
Well, I know.
I mean, that's just part of life.
I know, but if I'm scared of rejection, I won't go after it all the way.
Well, here's the thing that I have seen over and over and over again.
You know what my dad used to say?
What'd your dad used to say?
When I first got into sales, this is a Ron Gottiism. When I first got into sales, he said, "Listen, worst thing that can happen, they can tell you no, right?
Can't eat you.
He said they can't eat you,
Can't kill you.
They can't kill you. He said they can't take away your house. He said the only thing that can happen is they can tell you no. And he said the no is just an avenue to a yes. And he told me that when I was 22 years old, man.
I think one of the biggest challenges that I've seen over the last 21 years in working with clients all over Canada, the Caribbean, and the U.S., I think the biggest thing that I see is when it comes to people not embracing the idea of sales is just what you said. They do have a bad picture of a salesperson. Now, when you break that down, though, and you put reality to it, and you try to go, okay, but really, what is it, Well, and I've asked people this question before, what is it you don't like about the profession of sales or a salesperson? Well, and here's what I usually get. I always think of like the car salesman. Or I always think of like the vacuum cleaner salesman. Mr. Producer, do you even have a reference as a young millennial of what a vacuum cleaner salesman is?
Is he a millennial? Are you a millennial? Or are you something else?
You're a millennial, right?
I don't know. I think I'm in.
He said, "Don't put me in a box." That's what he said.
You're gonna have to Google that. I think what's the new new thing is not millennials. It's what?
Generation Z or something.
You are Gen Z.
I think I'm in between them. I don't know.
So, do you even know what a vacuum cleaner salesman is?
You don't even know what a
Yeah,
vacuum
I've had
cleaner
one
is.
come to my house.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
All right, so you know what I'm talking about. I didn't know if that was an old-fashioned thing or not, but I think when I asked this question...
you've seen the demo.
Yeah.
Did you buy one?
No.
Did your mom and dad
Oh,
buy one?
I did.
No.
I totally bought one.
You're easy pickings.
No, dude, it's a great product.
I'm a hard close. I'm so hard to close.
But lest we digress,
Okay.
when I ask these questions, I think those are the kinds of, images that come to mind. Is the pushy, as you said, dingy kind of person. But when you put reality in that, you start asking yourself some questions. You know what? There may be some pushy salespeople out there that sell vacuum cleaners or cars or whatever. But you know what? There are dingy people in every single business out there. And they don't necessarily, excuse me, have to be in sales. There are dingy people in every scenario, and it's not specific to the profession of sales. I can tell you that for me, and being somebody who's been in sales my entire life, I look at it like I wear it as a badge of honor. Yeah. I really do. Being a great salesperson gives you the opportunity to help people at the very highest level. You know, being a great salesperson is somebody who can solve problems at the very highest level.
Skills that last a lifetime, man.
I understand that there are bad people out there in sales, but there are bad people in fill in the blank profession all over the place. So it's not the sales profession itself. The other thing I get is people are afraid if they get past this sort of analogy of a vacuum cleaner salesman, a car salesman. The other thing is they don't. This is what I've experienced. They don't want to come across as just pushy, like they don't want to come across as manipulative, and so that fear of being perceived as that holds them back from learning the skill of being a professional salesperson. And you know, I don't know what you would say to that. I can tell you, in working with people for years and years and years, I can tell you there's two things here. Number one, if you're afraid of how you're perceived, I don't know what you would say about this. Here's what I've learned. If you are afraid of being perceived as pushy, then even when you try to attempt the steps of a selling process, you're holding yourself back, and guess what happens? You are perceived as being pushy. I don't know if that makes any sense the way I just said it. Did you follow that, Mr. Producer? But he said yeah, but I don't think he did.
Nah, he didn't follow it.
Again,
he's a Generation X or Zer.
I don't know if what I said makes any sense, but I can tell you, if your biggest fear is coming across as pushy or manipulative, I can tell you, you will hold yourself back, and actually the very thing that you're afraid of will happen because you're not putting your heart into it. You're just trying to implement steps, and you're trying to be guarded in the process. And I'm telling you, it happens that way, and you come across as being manipulative and all of that. What I would tell you to do is this. Number one, get clear. As we said a moment ago, you are in sales. Get yourself some references for that. You know, yes, there are dingy salespeople, but there are dingy people in every profession, so it's not sales that you need to be wary of, right? Number two, if you're afraid of becoming being perceived as manipulative or pushy, then get with somebody like us who can help you insert your heart into a systematic process that can be yours. And listen, if you're coming across in this scenario with this kind of training that we're talking about doing, if you're coming across as pushy and manipulative, it's just that you're pushy and manipulative. That's just the bottom line.
Yeah, I think,
and you were just a pushy, manipulative person.
Sean, what would you say to people out there that listen to this that are maybe entrepreneurs, or they're in some type of role where they have to be proficient at sales? What would you say about how do you get started? I've never been in sales. Say I started a new business, mm-hmm. right? I was a school teacher before, mm-hmm. right? And now I've started a new business, and now I have to go out and generate clients, generate leads, close deals. How would I get started? How would I get started if I was just out there by myself?
So first of all, if you're listening to this and you're in that scenario, mm-hmm. like if you were a teacher, let's say, and now you're getting into a scenario where you have to be in sales, then if you heard that described the way Cameron just described it, you're going, ugh, and that's mm-hmm. freaking you out, right?
Oh yeah, dirty McGurdy.
But here's the
bank account go bing bing,
bing
bing bing bing.
I mean, here's the first step, and it's what we've already said. The first step is you have got to realize that you are in sales, and it's something that you have to embrace.
Yeah.
Okay. Second thing is, and it points to everything that we've just talked about. If you're listening to this, this is the thing you need to write down. We've talked about realize that you're in sales, realize that sales is not a bad thing, and don't worry about being perceived as pushy or manipulative. Now, those are important things, but how does it look like in the answer to your question? Here's what I'd say. Realize that sales is not about you talking. This is powerful. This is a bomb drop right here.
Can we get a? You got any sound effects, Mr. Producer?
Not at the moment.
Most people think, and this is where the pushy part comes in, and this is where the dingy part comes in, because people who are not professional at sales, they talk, they tell, they push, right? A great salesperson asks and listens. That's it. Asking, listening. Now let me ask you something. If you're listening to this, is there anything that is more comfortable than knowing that you're just asking and listening? I mean, it's as simple as making a friend. It's as simple as developing relationships. I mean, you're asking and you're listening. You're asking and you're listening. If you're telling and talking and pushing, that's not a salesperson. That's dingy.
I got somebody I know right now personally,
Uh-oh.
and they think
You
they
don't release their names?
Oh no, they think they are the bomb at sales.
Oh, so you're talking about, I don't mean to toot my own horn.
But
toot.
Yeah. They think they are. They think they can. In other words, they think they can close it down.
I'm not one to toot my own horn. Toot.
I mean, listen.
Is that the attitude?
You won't compare yourself to me.
Is
I've been around.
that the attitude?
That's the attitude, yeah.
So what about this person?
All they do is talk.
Talk.
Trying to convince.
Push.
Selling is not trying to convince somebody that
Telling.
they need something. All right?
Selling
ain't telling. Exactly.
Selling is asking.
Asking questions.
Selling
to
is nothing
find
more
out.
than making a relationship. It's nothing more than being a great friend. What is a great friend? It's somebody who listens to what kind of challenges you've got and helps you get to a solution. Dude, that's sales. That's it.
What kind of questions would you ask, though, Sean?
What and how?
What and how? Why would you ask those questions that way?
Because they're open-ended questions. What are questions that you don't want to ask?
Do you, did you, will you, could you, should you, won't you?
Are ya?
Please do this.
Are you?
Are you?
Are you, will you, won't you, would you, could you, should you, have you? Anything that can be answered with a yes or no. But before we I don't want to get into the tactical aspects of that, because the how-to comes after. Step one is you got to get clear in your head. If you're not clear in your head, then the how-to, as I said a moment ago, is not something that you're going to put your heart into. And if you don't put your heart into it, it's not going to be you, and it's not going to be sincere. And if it's not you and it's not sincere, guess what? It's dingy, it's manipulative, and it's pushy. Exactly. Unless you are, in fact, a dingy, manipulative, and pushy person. But we'll save that for another episode. Toot, toot.
Toot, toot. And bing, bing.
And bing, bing.
That's what I do. So, guys, realize that you're in sales if you're in business, right? Rule number 2 why you suck at sales is you didn't get into this business because you want to be a great salesperson. You got into this business because you enjoyed the aspects of the business. So you have to figure out what's it going to take for you personally so that you can put yourself in a mindset where you enjoy sales so that you're going after it 100%.
You're gonna get to this place if you're listening to this on your mobile phone, which, by the way, we have just found out that the majority of you who do listen or watch
mobile phone
are doing it on the mobile devices, which blew me away to the tune of like 98%.
That's
because
he's a generation
98%, which means that the majority of the people who are listening to this and watching this are driving down the road or walking around looking at your phone or whatever. You're not.
When was the last time you looked at the computer? Besides like an email or something.
No, I mean I understand that. Okay. That blew me away. So if you're driving around, you're listening to this, you're thinking, man, all of that sounds, really good. But at the end of the day, I'm kind of comfortable and kind of happy that I don't view myself as being in sales. Listen, you're going to get to this place on your own, whether you believe us now or whether it happens down the road. You, my friend, are in sales, period. And the quicker you come to that realization, then the quicker you can begin to embrace and hug on and love on how it is that you need to be to become a great salesperson. There's a reason, and I say this all the time, there's a reason that professional salespeople make more money than anybody else on the planet, because it's a profession. And because people love those who can help them solve problems. And that's what a professional salesperson does. You got to embrace the concept. This is, the title of this is the number 2 reason that you suck at sales. Not embracing it and not coming to the realization that you're in sales is kind of the basis for everything else. I mean,
Right.
Everything flows from exactly that.
You can't learn the steps to creating value, or the steps to how to ask open-ended questions, or the sales process. You can't learn that until, number 1, in your mind, you're clear that, hey, I am in sales.
So the first thing you got to do is accept the realization that you're in sales. Number 2 thing you got to do is, as we talked about a moment ago, create some references for yourself. You know what? Ask yourself some great questions. Is it that I really don't like sales, or is it that I just have some bad pictures of some previous salespeople in my head? And then break that down and realize that, you know what? Let me get over that, because there are bad salespeople just like there are bad judges, attorneys, lawyers, dentists, medical doctors, urologists.
Very bad. That's so bad.
So, I spoke to a group of urologists several years ago in Omaha, Nebraska. And at the University of Nebraska, they're in Omaha. Tough crowd, I'm going to tell you. And they could not get past this idea that they are in sales. I think we got through to some of them, but not all of them. So get some new references, right? Ask yourself and really dive in. Is it sales that's a bad thing, or is it just that I have some bad references? And get clear on that.
If you need references from us, go to thecrabtreegroup.com. Give us a call. Send us an email. We'd love to help you out. I don't care what kind of business you're in. If you're in any kind of entrepreneur-based business, you're in sales. And if you want to run some ideas by me or Sean, we'd be happy to support you.
The number 3 thing we talked about is this. Get past this worry that you're going to be perceived as manipulative or pushy. And the reference for those are this. Number 1, you're only going to be perceived as pushy and manipulative if, in fact, you are pushy and manipulative, not because of a sales process, okay? That's just not going to happen. You are who you are. And a great reference for that is professional salespeople don't tell, they ask. They ask.
Open-ended questions.
And if you're asking open-ended questions, how are you going to be perceived as pushy?
Can't be.
Pushy.
Impossible. Can't be.
And then I think we also talked about your friend
Rubbish.
who says, what does he say? I'm not one to blow my own horn.
But toot toot. Toot toot. There's the horn. Here it comes again.
So hopefully this has been meaningful for you. You, my friend, are in sales. Like Cameron said, if you need some references, if you need some training, reach out to us. You can find us at thecrabtreegroup.com. Send us a direct message. Send us an email. We're always happy to help, whatever it is that you need. And that's why we do this show every single week. It's about you having happier clients, better results, making more money, and enjoying the ride. Thanks for joining us on Growth Profits. We'll see you same time, same channel next week. Have a good week.